Piers Morgan, may his show rest in peace, had Mark Cuban on. And right on cue, they started in on gun control.
I have no problem if you have guns in your home. That's your choice, protect yourself. We have armed guards at my house because of all the crazies. But I think they need to be registered. I think if you own a gun, you need to be registered and pass tests. I'm a believer that if the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, so we ought to give all the good guys registration, make them fill out forms, make them pass tests, then you give them a white hat. Because no one's going to mess with a good guy with a gun with a white hat in public. Seriously. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous to take a gun out in public because you think you might protect yourself.
Okay, first, you want them to have the gun registered? What does that even mean? You own the Dallas Mavericks. Texas doesn't even have a gun registry. Maybe learn the laws before you start telling your guys to start following one that doesn't exist. And by the way, what if your guys are facing circumstances that you aren't aware of or happen to be out of your control? Then is it okay with you if he carries for protection? And Pierce, that little quip asking, is it because we call it gun control? Seriously? Hey guys, I've got an idea. Let's just switch the words around and hope they don't notice, okay? Really? I'm a little baffled by all this condescension. Is it just me, or is anyone else totally over yet another billionaire telling you how to run your life? Sorry, Mark, but something tells me that you've lost the ability to identify with your average Joe. And just out of curiosity, what kind of guns does your security detail have? Right. See, Bloomberg does this, of course, and George Soros donated millions to make sure that you and I can't defend ourselves. But don't worry, he'll be sitting pretty with his armed guards surrounding him. I like to call this billionaire bullying. What is it with these guys thinking that they are now able to speak and make policy for the rest of us? This is not what the Founding Fathers had in mind. They knew all too well that power in the hands of a few was incredibly dangerous and would become self-focused. That's why we have the right to bear arms, to enforce our rights if necessary. Because all people are created equal. And as long as you're abiding by the law, you should be able to defend every right that you have. We're not supposed to be ruled by a few just because they have the most dollars. That in itself is a form of tyranny, and we as citizens have to be educated enough to combat it. These heavy hitters manipulate journalists and politicians and Hollywood moguls, but somehow can't quite seem to see down here to the rest of us. I suppose those ivory towers are just a little too tall to catch a view of we, the people. But man, if you're not gonna look, we're not gonna listen.